There's no build up. We're going after the playoffs this year. I mean, that's what you do it for.
The Chargers' new training facility in El Segundo is already turning heads.
And officially open the vault.
You worked in a place in Baltimore that was considered the standard for a long time as far as training facilities go and what they built there in the castle. Why is something like this important?
The one thing in Baltimore, you were always excited to walk into the building every single day. Players, coaches, staff, everybody. And you walk up here to the Bolt and it's unbelievable. Mm-hmm. I mean, I saw it, the first time I saw it was on Jim's press conference.
Yeah.
And it was concrete. Like, and you saw the vision, but you really couldn't capture it. And then to walk up to it now, it's amazing. It really is.
Okay, so as we walk here, you see like the names, and obviously, again, like, going back to your past, you were one of the ground floor guys in Baltimore. So you understand the importance of the legacy and having worked with guys like Ray Lewis and Ed Reed. And so you look down here and you guys can see all the different names, and LaDainian Tomlinson and Antonio Gates and Fred Dean and Charlie Joyner. Like, how important is it for you guys to have this here? And then, I mean, for the players to be able to kind of know what they're following.
Legacy before them, I think it's great. Like, you see the Hall of Fame, the Pro Football Hall of Fame stamps on them, and it's just where the past meets the present. And, it kind of reminds them of what this organization's about, and to see all the success and the players that have played here and the coaches that have played here, and they walk through it every day. They talk about all the greats that have played here and all the people that have built this organization from the beginning to now. And I think you want to get them involved as much as possible, and we want them to come back as often as they want to be here. And if we'll draw them back in. We'll get them here. So looking forward to getting a chance to get to know them as the season progresses and get around them. So you got a three-story video board that obviously has got the logo and the sponsorship up right now, but I mean that picture can change at will, and if that doesn't capture your attention, I don't know what does. It's impressive. Like it's a grand entrance, everything. They just did such a wonderful job. The architecture and the design here is really breathtaking, really. Yep. You got the media room set up right here, press conferences. You got the board behind it, digital board behind it.
A pretty important guy.
He might help us win a few games. We'll take you over to the weight room.
I'd assume this is one of the areas you could affect.
Absolutely. Ben Herbert, came in with the vision, what the equipment he wanted in here, what he wants to do to build this team from a weight standpoint, strength and conditioning standpoint, and you got everything you need, everything you can imagine. But then there's so much space outside, where we can take advantage of with the weather here. 12 months a year, really.
You see this in a lot of the new facilities. Why, like the whole idea of everything kind of flowing, right? Like where you want the players to be able to go right from the weight room out into the field. Why is that?
Efficiency, ease, access. It's easy to walk into the weight room, get a lift in after practice. It's easy to get some warm up in before practice and then get out there. It flows from the weight room right into the training room. Steps upstairs into the cafeteria. You go into, everything's designed around the players, these first two floors. Meeting rooms right off the cafeteria, so everything flows beautifully, and it's great. And that's what you want to do. You want to create an environment for the players to want to be here.
Joey, you're one of the guys here who has a unique perspective on Jim Harbaugh. So I guess I want to start with what your impressions were of him before he became the coach here.
I guess my only impressions early on before I had met him was that he's my rival coach back in college, and you're kind of taught to hate everybody that comes out of that program, but everywhere he's been a winner. I went in obviously with an open mind. Obviously I don't hold on to that rivalry to this day like that. I'm an old man now. Yeah, he's first day I met him, we probably talked for 45 minutes, an hour, just chatting about life, football, and everything. And I think he's a really, unique guy. Has a lot of experience, a lot of unique perspective on things. He gets across his messages in a unique way, and does it in a fun, kind of funny, Jim Harbaugh kind of way. I guess is the only way I can express it. I'm just excited. with the culture that he's building. I mean, that's a word that's kind of overused in football, but you can really feel it around here, where it's not each coach kind of teaching their own message. It's from the top down, and everybody's following his leadership and the path that he's laying forward. So I'm really excited.
One of the things that, like, obviously that you guys had to deal with right away was really difficult, which was your contract. How did he handle that with you? Because obviously he's known as a guy who has had really close relationships with a lot of his players, but I mean, you know as well as anybody how this is a business and how you have to look out for yourself. So was there any sort of bonding that you guys were able to do going through a difficult situation like that early on?
Really didn't talk too much during that period. It was a quick turnaround. It really was about a week of negotiation, and things happen fast, and I wanted to be here, and him coming only strengthens that feeling. It's old news. I haven't really thought about it since. I'm just here to try to have my best year yet, and prove that I'm not washed up just yet. But yeah, it was an interesting experience. But I think seeing Khalil obviously take the pay cut after the year he's had is inspiring to see the kind of man he is and the player that he is, willing to come and stay with an organization because he sees great potential here and a chance to win it all, which is what it's all about. It's what you're going to remember down the line. So I'm happy with how everything worked out. It was a fine experience, and I'm just ready to move forward.
Was he a factor in deciding to do that? And I mean, did he let you know, like, hey, Joey,
Yeah.
I do want you around?
Yeah. I mean, he did reach out to me, but I mean, he was definitely a factor. I think that stability that he brings is important. Obviously, with Staley leaving last year, it was we were all waiting to see what was going to happen, and it was definitely a positive that he was picked for the job. But yeah, it was a lot of pieces. Just the new facility, being here my whole career, it's been something that I've wanted to do. Not a lot of people get to play their entire career in one place and retire with the team that drafted them and gave them that opportunity. So that's kind of a goal of mine, and hopefully it works out.
You haven't hit anybody yet, right? Like, nobody, because you guys can't until next week. But Jim's program has always been, and I think one of the things that's really cool about it is it sort of looks the same everywhere he's been, whether it's Stanford, San Francisco, Michigan. Can you already see signs of what you're going to be, maybe in the way you guys are working out or what you're watching in the film room? Like, are there already a lot of signs of what Jim wants to build here?
Yeah, I mean, we had a great start with the off season during OTAs, laid the groundwork for a great camp. Every year it's the same questions about this is the year, this and that, and every year I feel very confident about it. Our goal right now is not to worry about a week from now, a month from now, but come out every day, grind with each other, push each other, compete, and it'll take care of itself. But the short answer is yes, I do feel like things are definitely heading in the right direction. He has a great plan that he's executed multiple times before, so it's not like he's just winging it out here. So I feel really confident about that. But like I said, I think not worrying about our potential, this, that, whatever, just coming out here and grinding every day, like I said.
How's this place made a difference?
Yes, it's unbelievable. I mean, this is my second day in this place, so still getting lost.
Yeah.
But it's unbelievable. I was just looking at it during practice, like, damn, this is pretty serious.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a blessing to be able to make it from San Diego to Hogue to now this beautiful new facility. It's great.
It took you a long time to get here, and you were one organization, which is rare, for so many years, and you guys had so much success, and there were so many different points when you could have been plucked away by somebody else. Did you ever wonder, and I know a lot of guys do, if your shot would ever come?
I never really looked at it that way.
Yeah.
I talked to my family, my wife about it, Jennifer, and just put it in God's hands, and if it was meant to be, it was meant to be. Just do your job, enjoy where you are. The saying, be where your feet are.
Yeah.
That when you're at a place like Baltimore,
Yep.
it's easy to believe that saying and live that saying, because it is a fantastic organization from top to bottom. I got a chance to work with my best friends, you know, in life, and great mentors, and Ozzie and Eric, and great ownership in Steve. And so, yeah, there's opportunities. Your goal is to become a GM, but you want it to be the right place. Yeah. And man, I couldn't have asked for a better place. You know, Spanos family, Dean, John, just AG, they're awesome. And John's been a huge asset to me, having been a scout and gone through a lot of various roles within the organization. So he's a great leader and mentor for me here, and Ed McGuire's here. So this organization has people in place that I'm able to come in and join and get right to work, and then to add Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert and some really talented players that are already here. It was just something that you're excited to build on top of.
Every personnel guy has their list of coaches, right? Like that they think that they would match up with, and everybody kind of, you know, all you guys like kind of like work on that. If I got my shot, who would I want to work with? All right, you just talked about putting it in God's hands. Like in a lot of ways, does it like almost feel like this was sort of the way it was meant to be? Like the way it just kind of like worked out, where, you know, they win the national title, and you know you're fully prepared to go. Right. You know.
Yeah. You know, and that's the thing. Like from my standpoint, you know, I've said this to some of the guys and upstairs. You know, I've never been in. I've always wanted to be as good as I can be in my role. And you know, if I would have been a GM 10 years ago, I don't think I'd be a GM today. Yeah. You know, I don't think I was prepared. And I don't know if you're ever prepared, but certainly felt more prepared at this moment than I was 10 years ago. And we've had a lot of success there in Baltimore. But yeah, Jim wins the national title. He comes here. I mean, the things that have happened in my life. Again, the connections to him from the moment my first day on the job in Baltimore. He was our quarterback, and it's just neat, you know, to me. It's a pretty cool thing, and obviously working for his brother and knowing the family. So it definitely it feels, you know, preordained, or it's pre-planned, I guess.
Where would Jim have been on your list?
Oh, he was up there. He was. So I've had multiple, a few other interviews for GM positions, and he was always one of the candidates that I presented. And you know, I talked to him years ago before my first interview to see if he'd be interested. And at the time, I think he was interested in listening, but I knew he had unfinished business in Michigan. Yep. And then and it just worked out. He finished the business there, and he's ready to go.
Why was Jim, beyond the wins and losses, why was Jim so high?
Well, I think the culture that he builds, the program that he builds, the offense, the defense, everything he does kind of matched what I've been raised on in Baltimore from the start. You know, strong run game, play defense, be efficient. He's a great leader, tremendous leader. Like you said, he's a winner everywhere he's been. He knows how to build a program. He knows, he's got the blueprint, he's got the vision and the plan to execute it. And those are the types of guys you want to work with, you know. And on top of that, he's a great man and friend, and again, you know, just knowing his brother and having the ability to work with John, and just, you know, it's an easy ask, you know, or desire.
You see, like, a lot of coaches evolve and change over, and I know Jim's done some of that, but I think what's so distinctive about Jim is that it looks the same everywhere he goes. Yeah. It looked at Stanford like it looked at San Francisco, like it looked at Michigan. Like, I'm sure you envision it looking here. Absolutely. How hard is that to actually pull off?
I mean, you have to. You got to know your system. You got to know, and you have to execute it. I don't think it's hard with the way he coaches and the staff he assembles. I mean, it's always a challenge in the NFL. Winning is a challenge at all levels, but you know, he gets buy-in from everyone, and everyone's going in the same direction. And that's not just his coaching staff. That's not just the players. That's the support staff around him. I've said it before. I say it every time. Like, Jim walks in the room, you feel his presence, and the positive energy, and you just want to get up and go get going and get working with him, you know, and walk alongside of him and do whatever he needs and wants the organization to do. We're all pulling in that direction.
Is it fair to call it old school?
I don't know if it is old school. I mean, it's
I mean, that's, I guess people always look at, like,
if
running
being
the ball
tough
is-
and physical
yeah.
and getting after it's old school, but that's football. That's what
Right.
football. That's how football is designed to be played.
Yeah.
So maybe it's old school, but to me, it's just the game. And it's a way to approach the game and do it with passion and toughness and physicality and give it your all.
Well, Jim, let's start here. I think one thing that's so interesting about your career, and I know it's tough to talk about yourself, but everywhere you've been, there's sort of, as football has changed, there's been an identity to the way your teams look, whether Stanford, San Francisco, Michigan, and I guess you hope here, right? What's allowed you to do that? Like, what's allowed you to kind of keep the foundation of what your program is?
Good players.
Yeah.
I'm here to tell you right now, there are no great coaches without really good players. If you don't have good players, then you're not gonna be a very good coach. And we have that here, which is so exciting. There's just so many good players. I mean, I know who's got it better than us. It's been a long time. Love the way they work. I mean, look the way they train, and it's they attack everything they do. So good to have day one.
Yep.
Yeah. We've begun. We've started, and now we're off and rolling.
But there is a little something there too, right? Like I remember, God, this is 10 years ago, you and I talking about it when you guys were in the playoffs, you played your brother in the Super Bowl, and growing up in the Bo Woody era, right? Like, and kind of what that meant for you. There is that quality to all of your teams though, right? I'm not off base thinking that you have a foundation of what you're looking for those good players to become as a group, right?
No, it really hasn't changed at all. I mean, stuff I learned from as a little kid, competitors welcome.
Yep.
Competitors are welcome, and let any team you're going on. I've noticed that whether it's competitors at home, on the team, and your line of work, whatever it is, whatever team, whatever family environment, competitors are welcome.
How has Joe helped facilitate what your vision is too? Because Joe obviously has all the experience, and I know you guys had a relationship previously too, but he's working with John all those years.
Yeah.
So he's sort of facilitating John's vision. Like, how close is that to what you guys want to build, even though you and John never, I guess, really worked together, right?
John told me right out of the gate, he was like, you're gonna love Joe Hortiz. And he undersold me.
Yeah.
He undersold how much I love Joe Hortiz. He is the best. I mean, I gotta think he's one of the best. There's no better evaluator than him. And what you see is what you get. I mean, a great guy to be around. He's got this ability of just pulling your best. His ability to pull, the best out of me, the best out of Chad, the best out of the coaches, the coordinators, the entire scouting staff. I mean, those meetings we had, draft and personnel meetings that we had. I mean, somebody could do a TED talk on Joe Hortiz's leadership style.
And how has this building sort of helped facilitate what you guys are trying to build? Obviously, there's a lot that you didn't have control of because a good percentage of it was done by the time you got here. How have you guys tried to make it your own?
I know it looks great.
Yeah.
Aesthetically looks amazing, and that jumps out to you.
Yeah.
But then then you look at these fields. That's going to jump out to you. I mean, these are. I mean, the finest surface. Yeah, you could a lot better than the courses I play. Just for greens, but. It was safety in mind. It's like artificial turf, but it's grass.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But inside there, I mean, that was designed by football people who knew exactly what they were doing. I mean, coaches, and we got the ability to hunker down. We're close to each other. Then we're steps from the meeting room. All we are is downstairs. Players. I mean, one step there in the weight room, another step there in the training room. Up above, you got the fueling, the fuel, and the meeting rooms. Quarterbacks are next to the receivers. We're next to the offensive line. The edges are next to the interior D line. From anything you can think of to help us win, they've thought of and put into this. So, really now the challenge is getting anything and everything out of this facility, because I think it's a tremendous advantage for us.
How is the Jim Harbaugh that left San Francisco the same now, and how is he different?
I think I've been pretty much the same, probably from about 42 on, or 40, maybe 40 on. I've been the same guy.
That's about my age, so why you pick that number?
I don't know. It's kind of when I went from playing to coaching.
Yeah.
I think I've been the same person for a pretty long time.
And that's just because you're really rooted in what you believe in and what you want and what you're looking to build.
Yeah, there's just priorities: faith, family, and football.
No, thanks, Jim.
All right, thanks, Al.
Great to see you. How has it affected, like how has having him as your coach affected the way that you evaluated, the way you've scouted, the way you've set up your department here?
Yeah, so I mean, the department a large majority of mine inherited. I brought Chad Alexander in from the Jets, who I'd worked with in Baltimore, and he's very familiar with our system in Baltimore and how we scout. But it was easy, like I said, to transition from the Ravens to Jim because our identities are very similar. But I think what he's done is he's open, and he seeks input, and he seeks other people's opinions, and I think that's allowed this organization, the chance to breathe and get excited and give input and work with him and listen to what he wants, and then go out and get it.
You hear a lot of guys that are kind of like pigeonholed as college guys, and then certain guys pigeonholed as NFL guys. Yeah. Why has his program specifically been able to cross over?
He's one of the greatest competitors that I've come across. He's a great listener. He listens to the players. He's a great motivator and a great leader. And his ways work. It's been proven on the college side and the pro side. But it's just the way he attacks everything, he's highly competitive and he wants to win. And you feel that, and that rubs off on everyone around him. I mean, because he brings a great energy and charisma with everything he does.
And you guys have a pretty good quarterback you're building around.
It doesn't hurt to have Justin.
Did building around Lamar inform you on how you want it to look around a quarterback? I know they're very different, right? But you guys had to adjust some things going from Joe Flacco to Lamar Jackson. Right. Has that informed you at all on how you build around Justin?
Well, I think what it shows, especially that's a great comparison. Joe and Lamar, they're different types of quarterbacks, and Justin's different than both of them. Yeah. But you get a great quarterback, and all three of those quarterbacks, in my opinion, are great quarterbacks. Yeah. So you build around their strengths, and you have to have the flexibility, and you can still run the offense you want to run, but you tailor it to the quarterback operating the system. And I think Greg has a great history of doing that. Yeah. And certainly I've been familiar with how to do it, switching on the fly from Joe to Lamar. It helps you understand that it doesn't have to be one specific way. There can be flexibility in your approach. I've
sort of looked at it as like Jim sometimes gets more out of his quarterbacks by asking less of them. Is that a fair way to look at it? Like where he's going to take the pressure off them. You're going to play good defense. You're going to run the ball well. You're going to be in 2nd and 5 more.
That's
what I mean?
Right. But, so you ask less of them, but what you're really maybe doing is asking more of others around them. Right. So I wouldn't say we're asking less of Justin and that he asks less of JJ. Right. But what he asks is, hey, help the quarterback, and then the quarterback's going to help you. And I think that's the approach he takes. So why not make it easier? 2nd and 5 is a lot easier than 2nd and 10. Let's make it easier. It's a simple approach. Yeah.
You guys have some veteran players here: Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa. Rashawn Slater's a little older now. Obviously, Justin's been in the league for a little bit. What have you and Jim asked for those guys as far as just being torchbearers for what he wants to build?
Yeah, I think just commit to us. Yeah. Commit to the team, and the great thing is, it was instant buy-in. One you didn't mention Derwin James. Boy, I think it was my first or second week. Yeah, that's okay. My first or second week on the job, I come into Jim's office, and he's in there and he's smiling, and him and Otito were in there, and it's just like the energy in the room. Yeah. It was between Jim and Derwin. I'm ready. You feel it. And Derwin's such a great leader, and that's the thing. These guys, they want to win. Yep. And Jim's a winner. And he knows how to build a winner. And so, they catch the enthusiasm. They feel it. You listen to Joey talk, and you see the energy and the excitement he has. And same with Khalil. These guys have gotten up in front of the team and talked about how important winning is. That's where they're at in their careers. It's about winning. It's not about them individually. And I think that's the great thing Jim builds. He is a team builder. He brings everyone together, and we're going to do it together.
What's the best Jim Harbaugh story you have from the last 6 months?
The best is just, to me, like I said, the leader, the partner, the energy giver he is. You know, I don't see quirky. I see a guy that loves the game and loves the players and loves the organization and wants to win so badly. And so it's just, we're to me, the best story I have is just how much fun we're having. You know, and it's not one individual event. It's the draft meetings. I can think about sometimes where we're talking about how great Justin is, and then we talk about how great Justin is when we hold the opponents down. So it's like, hey, let's get offense. Oh, wait, Justin's great when we keep the scoring low. Let's go defense, you know. But just we're having fun doing it and building this team, and he's having a great time coaching this team, and that's what really stands out to me about how much fun and passion he has for it.
I think that part of it's really interesting too, because like I to go back to Ben Herbert, like I remember hearing the stories about how he has guys like running through water in jeans, ridiculous stuff, right? And then you talk about like building a tough physical team, you have tough physical practices. How does he make that fun? And do you need a certain type of guy for it, like in the building for it to be fun for them? You know what I mean? Like how does he make what is seen as like kind of like the hard parts of becoming a great football player fun?
Yeah. I think it's the energy he brings. He's completely transparent and honest. He from the jump, we're going to work hard. You know, we're going to put it all out there, but we're going to have fun doing it. He knows when to push. He knows when to pull back. The one thing, we work hard, but he protects the players. You know, and there's a right time to go full speed, and then there's a time to let's scale it back. You know, or let's protect the players. Hey, let's go off the ball fast, but then let's gear down. So he's protecting the players while working hard, and they see that, and so that gets more out of them.
You mentioned the term buy-in. Like, is there a good story of something you saw, whether it's from one of the days in the spring, what time guys are getting, whatever it is? Like, was there something that you can think of that like really kind of reflects how much the players have bought into what, you know, now a 60-year-old Jim Harbaugh is selling them?
You know, I think you see it when he addresses the team. The eyes are all up. You know, the smiles are on their faces. There's no heads down. There's no, you know, frowns. You know, they're attentive. They're smiling. You know, they're engaged. But I think the biggest buy-in you saw also is just literally the attendance here. Hey, everyone was here. You felt the excitement. Everybody who came in the building from my first day here, every player I met, you felt the excitement, the energy they have, how much they're looking forward to this season, and you see it out there on the field. You'll see it at practice tomorrow. I mean, they're ready to go. The players are ready to go. They want to win, and they know we got a winner leading us.
Has Jack been around?
He has not yet. I have not seen Jack yet, so I can't wait.
Okay.
You know, but I won't have any fishing stories for him, though.
What's been the best part of this experience so far for you? You know, obviously, again, you shoot your whole career to get here. And now you have this partner that, like, obviously you've got a ton of background with. What's been the best part of the experience so far?
Yeah, I mean, you know, certainly being with Jim and having fun doing it together, and the communication between us, and just talking through things and enjoying things together, working hard together and doing it. But really, the way the organization has really embraced us, and you know, certainly moving into this new facility, it's been unbelievable. And you know, my first day in Hogue, in our old facility, was like, you know, this will work. You know, this will work. And you know what? They did a great job taking what they had and making it a football facility. But then coming in here, you know, if you could have been here the past 2 weeks, you know, or a week and a half that I've been here, every day it's something new. Like, it's just, you see they keep adding to it, and we're building it. And so that's probably the most fun, is watching the build and knowing that we're just starting. You know, and there's a lot more ahead of us.
Jim doesn't want to wait to win either, does he?
No, we're going to go. I said it from my first press conference. Someone asked me if this is a rebuild, and I'm like, no, we're going out to try to win this year. Yeah, we're going to have to make some changes with players just because of the situation we're in, but the goal is to win every year. There's no build up. We're going after the playoffs this year. I mean, that's what you do it for. That's what I don't want to. We can't sell the players short and say, no, they're all out here giving us everything they have. Let's go win. You know, let's go get to the playoffs and see what we can do.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe.
Absolutely.